Welcome back. Today we're doing a deep dive into what looks like a real turning point for Japan's energy future.
It really does. We're looking at insights from the Climate Curation newsletter by Hiroyasu Ichikawa.
And the theme he's identified is pretty stark. 2026 is shaping up to be the year of execution.
Exactly. The era of, lofty goals and 2050 pledges is kind of over. Now we're hitting the hard reality. We're talking about actual pricing, construction, real-world stuff.
Okay, so before we jump into the numbers, we should probably set the stage here.
Right. A quick disclaimer.
Yeah, for everyone listening, we should be clear that while we use AI to help sort through all this information, what you're hearing is really our own take, a personal interpretation of public news.
And the final editorial responsibility, the final word, that belongs to Hiroyasu Ichikawa at Social Company, Inc.
Precisely. So think of this as a news commentary overview, a way to make sense of it all.
So this year of execution, the headline news is that Japan is finally putting a real price on carbon, starting in fiscal 2026.
This is the GXETS, the Green Transformation Emissions Trading Scheme.
That's the one.
Green Transformation is a great name, but what are the actual mechanics? I see they've set a price band.
They have. The floor is set at 1,700 yen, and the ceiling is 4,300 yen per ton.
Okay, so in US dollars, that's roughly what, 11 to 27 bucks? Is that really enough to make a difference?
Well, that's the big debate. If you look at Europe, carbon can be 60, 70 euros or more. So, yeah, $27 looks low.
It looks tiny.
But the logic isn't to copy Europe. It's about finding what's called the indifference price.
The indifference price.
It's the tipping point. It's where it becomes economically rational for a power company to switch from coal to LNG, but not so high that it bankrupts them.
So it's a nudge, not a shove.
A very calculated nudge. And it's not optional. It covers about 60% of Japan's domestic emissions.
So all the big players, we're talking Toyota, J.R. Hare, Nippon Steel.
Your big 300 or 400 firms, yeah. It creates immediate financial pressure, and you can already see that stress showing up with TEPSO.
Tokyo Electric. They just put out their first restructuring plan in 5 years, and it seems intense.
Strategic is the polite word, but yes, the pressure is immense. They have to decommission Fukushima, restart other reactors, and upgrade the grid all at once.
And now they're openly asking for capital tie-ups.
Which is a huge signal. A legacy monopoly basically admitting they can't do this alone anymore. They need outside cash to hit that 60% decarbonized power goal by 2040.
But here's the paradox, right? Just as they're trying to clean up the grid, demand for electricity is suddenly spiking.
For the first time in decades, yeah. This is the energy demand paradox. The grid operator, OCCTO, just revised their 10-year forecast up.
By how much?
By 5.3%, and that's almost entirely driven by data centers and new chip plants.
Wow. We always talk about AI being energy hungry, but to see it actually change a country's national infrastructure plan in real time is something else.
And the response seems almost counterintuitive. Hokkaido Electric is considering a brand new LNG plant just to meet this demand.
A new fossil fuel plant. That seems to fly in the face of the 2050 net zero goal.
It creates serious tension. The immediate need for power for data is forcing them to lock in fossil fuel assets for decades.
So the government must see this coming. What's the pivot?
The main pivot is on offshore wind. They're completely revamping the auction system.
What was wrong with the old one?
It was a race to the bottom. Whoever bid the lowest price won. But the bids were so low that the projects were financially impossible to actually build.
So you had winners on paper, but no turbines in the water.
Exactly. This radical relaunch is all about prioritizing viability. They need real electrons on the grid, not just cheap promises.
It feels like the whole strategy is shifting from market-based ideas to just betting on hard tech.
It is a big double down on engineering. Look at Idemitsu and Toyota. They're not just researching solid-state batteries, they are building a pilot plant for the electrolytes.
And they're targeting EVs for 2027.
Right. And you see it with international partnerships, too. The U.S. Department of Energy is teaming up with Kyoto Fusioneering on fusion energy.
Plus, the shipping company MOL is already buying credits for direct air capture and ocean-based carbon removal.
It's a clear admission that Japan can't solve this alone. They're looking for global tech to fix a domestic energy problem.
So as we said, 2026 is the deadline. The planning phase is over. For you listening, this leaves us with 3 really big questions to keep an eye on.
First is the money. Is that 4,300 yen carbon price cap actually going to change behavior? Or will companies just pay it as a cost of doing business?
Second, the infrastructure. Can Japan really power this AI boom without locking itself into more fossil fuels like that new plant in Hokkaido.
And finally, the companies themselves. Are these capital tie-ups enough to save a giant like TEPCO, or are we about to see the old utility monopolies start to break apart?
It's definitely going to be a messy, fascinating couple of years. Something to watch.